But then you also have the discomfort of wanting this goal, but you're only staying in this space.
I always say I want to put myself out on social media more, or post more, or do more things like that. But again, the fear of perfectionism, not knowing if, am I ready? I wanted to do at one point something about like exercise and like just posting about exercise, but who am I to say that you should go exercise when my body's not like perfect? I need to be perfect. It needs to look a certain way.
Welcome to the Limitless Tribe, where two badass women build businesses, chase dreams, and keep it way too real. I'm Kat.
And I'm Mel. We're the founders of Powerhouse Admins and the Limitless Tribe, and we're inviting you into the messy middle, the mindset shifts, and the CEO glow-ups you never see coming.
Now let's get into it.
Hi, welcome to episode 4. Today we're going to tackle perfectionism and the truth behind what it really means. So if you call yourself a perfectionist like it's a badge of honor, what if I told you it's actually fear disguised as discipline? It's not really what we tell ourselves that it is. I hope that by the end of this episode, you're going to really be able to see perfectionism differently and free yourself to really try and start those things you've been dreaming of but been too scared to fail at.
Like this podcast.
Yes. This was in the dreams. Like before, I think I even started the businesses. I don't know why I've always wanted to do one. And then the businesses happened and they worked together, and then Mel, and it's always easier to do something.
She bought me in this.
Yes, it's so much easier with someone else. Even if we're both terrified, it's just easier.
Right.
So here we are with you guys. So a little bit about my perfectionism story, right? And as a former perfectionist, I wouldn't say I am one anymore, I think. So when I grew up, even as, an elementary school kid, homework had to be perfect. Like every assignment my mom helped me with, so it was even better than it should have been for a kid that age. If anything had to be written on the board, it had to be measured, like width and the height of the letters had to be like perfect. And there's just a lot of critiquing overall on everything. Head to toe, work, everything, right? So that just became part of my inner critic and part of how I saw everything. And I always looked at being a perfectionist like if it was a good thing. Yeah. Like if I was trying harder, like if I had higher standards than other people, or I had more expectations. But really, it was just a crutch I was using to tell myself why I didn't submit certain things, right? Or like you start on stuff, but then you don't actually put it in because it's not perfect. Yeah. So it doesn't really exist if it's not shared, public, or published or presented. So that always was something that I struggled with. So I've been working on myself for a lot of years, and sometimes things don't hit you on the first lesson, I guess. It takes a few. So I did a Tony Robbins conference. I did all of his, actually. They were amazing. We did them virtual. It was around the COVID time. And one of them was a business one. And I'll never forget that, I don't remember the name of the presenter, but he was going to talk about like 12 important tips that every business owner should know, something like that. And he was very, very, very successful financially, and also and just achievements and businesses and recognition. And each lesson that he had was tied to a failure.
That's incredible.
Each one. And this man failed a lot.
But he just kept going.
A lot, yes. He kept going, but he also learned something from each scenario. So that failure, maybe that business never picked up, but it taught him this really big, important lesson that became one of these 12 that he is now sharing and believes is like a core of business knowledge, right? And then you're like, okay, yeah, and then the next one, and then the next one, and it was an overwhelming amount of failures.
That's incredible. Because then you see okay, so what am I scared of? If this person's out here doing all of this and, not scared of failing and not getting things right the first time. Yeah. That's incredible.
It was an eye-opener to realize that I felt like, not just the failing and what you're saying, but I'm not even participating. Yeah. Because I had not failed that much at all by that time. Yeah. So I thought, to me, I always looked at that as a good thing. Like I've gotten almost every position I've applied for, if not all. Like I've gotten the promotions I applied for. I usually hit my goals. but it's because I was dreaming and doing too small. So seeing him, I realized I'm never going to be the huge successful entrepreneur I tell myself I want to be if I'm not actively failing and learning as much as entrepreneurs are doing.
Yeah, because those big dreams that were in your head, probably you were not going for those. You were
Yeah.
just, staying small.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's easier to win if you stay
Yes.
small. So you might be a little bit more comfortable, but then you also have the discomfort of wanting this goal, but you're only staying in this space. So that was a really big eye-opener for me. I love when you see also on Instagram, like, I think it's like J.K. Rowling has like pitched her book, Harry Potter, like 1 million times, or people who were just a regular person and then became super successful at 50. There's a bunch. I think Starbucks also was another one. So all those stories,
those success stories are really cool to listen to and watch, and they're inspiring.
Yes,
because you realize that you've been hitting these small goals, so you're proud of yourself, right? Because you got the job or you got the promotion, but is it really what you really wanted to do or what you've been aspiring for?
And it was eye-opening. Also, all these things, I think in the beginning they're inspiring, but then after, it's a little bit like a magnifying glass or like in my face, because then it was like, I know that I would never, if I was the writer of the Harry Potter book, it would have never been published.
Yeah.
Because I probably wouldn't have been able to take the rejection that she did, and I wouldn't have been as resilient, so it would have never happened.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
Yeah. Even Jamie Lynn Lee.
Oh yes. I love her.
Yeah, Cosmetics.
Yes.
Right? Yes.
Yes, that book is amazing.
Yeah.
That seeing all this made me realize that I didn't have that resilience, and I needed to build that muscle.
Yeah.
So then after that, I was going through my transition phase of like going out of corporate and into trying to do my own thing, and I'm, self-diagnosed ADD, and I have a bunch of ideas and interests and hobbies, so it's impossible. Like, it's almost set up where I'm not going to do all of them, because I want to travel the world and read all the books and listen to all the podcasts and do all the things. So it's just not possible, which is true, but also I used it like another crutch. And my husband now, then, I think just boyfriend at that time, I don't know what the conversation was, and I was probably frustrated about something that happened or that I wasn't doing or that I didn't do.
And he called you out on it.
He did. And I was really upset. He told me that I didn't execute, I think. I even forget what exactly, but it was like that I didn't execute or I didn't follow through, and I'm like,
what? I do all these things. I've had all these accomplishments.
Yes.
Oh,
that's the immediate thought. Like, I've been successful at work. I bought a house by myself. I raised my daughter. I do execute, but not at the level that I could, and not at the level that matches my goals.
Yeah.
So after, a couple of days that I was mad, I thought about it, and then I realized that he was probably right. And then I think what really helped me actually transition and use all this stuff is I got mad at myself.
Yeah.
So I got annoyed that there are a lot of things that I started and didn't finish, that I wanted to finish.
Yeah, that magnifying glass. You looked at yourself in the mirror, right? Oof.
So I think that's the biggest change factor, when you are annoyed with yourself. And I was annoyed with myself. So I told myself from that moment on that it was going to be progress over perfection. And it's better to have done than to be perfecting constantly and never submit anything. So now I work on more consistency with everything, even like workouts that are a struggle for me. I don't right now focus on having it be the best, most effective workout, because I'm not there yet. I just need to show up every day. And if I can show up every day, that's a win. And once that's easy, then I'll move to the next step. And then things like this podcast, like, it's not really about the result. I just need to do it because I said that I would, because I can, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be something that sticks forever, but like, just try it.
Pull me along so that I can, join in on the fun. Because I would have never done this had it not. And I've always thought about things like this, right? Like, I always say I want to pull myself out on social media more, or post more, or do more things like that. But again, the fear of perfectionism, not knowing if, am I ready? I wanted to do at one point something about like exercise and like just posting about exercise, but who am I to say that you should go exercise when my body's not like perfect? I need to be perfect. It needs to look a certain way. So I just scare myself out of things.
And look at with the workouts, like there's people that are extreme overweight and that's when they start. Like, and I think those people are even more inspiring because they don't already have the perfect body. They are actually just regular people going through the work, and it's just more relatable when you're real.
Yeah, there was a lady at our gym this morning, and she's an older woman, and she said to myself and someone else I was working out, she said, "You girls are doing it good because you're starting younger, and look at me, I'm struggling so much." And I was like, "You're inspiring. Like, I want to be you when I get older and coming here." So, you know, it's never too late. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So here's the myth. The myth is that perfectionism means high standards and excellence. The truth is, it's actually fear of judgment and wearing a mask. So it's not really about doing better, it's avoiding failing in public, right? Because if you submit something and it is not absolutely perfect and you fail, what would that mean about you?
Yeah.
We make like failure like almost like if it becomes our identity, which it's not. It's just something that's happening. And it's a luxury to have the failures to be able to learn from them.
Yes. It's scary. But it's a good truth.
It is.
I think growing up, like even starting a business, right? We were always conditioned to, you just have to work for someone, right? My parents were immigrants. They immigrated to this country, and my dad came with nothing. And he was so terrified of not having like a security blanket, so he didn't want to buy property, he didn't want to start a business, he didn't want to do anything because of that failure, like just terrified of failure. And that's what he instilled in us, like just go to work, do your job, don't ask for too much, keep your head down, and come home and have your family. So, you know, I always would try to like move up in companies and stuff like that, and I was comfortable doing that, but I would never be comfortable with like, oh, start my own job and then like my own business, and then how about if I fail, and then what are people gonna think, and they're gonna look at me like, oh, look at that loser, you know? So it always, like, I feel like those things have always held me back from, you know, business or even posting more, or just like little things, you know?
Yeah, it's like a conditioning where I think they tried to make us the best versions that they thought.
Yeah.
So it's very like cookie cutter, like perfect, like don't be loud, don't do this, don't draw attention, like so many like rules, but then it just limits so much what you can do and what you get to experience.
You're boxed in, and it's all with good intention, right? Like, I don't think my father set out to be like, oh, you know, I don't want you can't be this or you can't be more, but he was so scared about it that's what he just instilled in us.
Yeah. Yeah, for him, he was protecting you guys. Yeah. So subconsciously, it might feel like we said earlier, like you're better than other people because you're trying harder, because you have higher standards. But really, you're just staying safe by not trying. So the cost of perfectionism is going to be a lot of missed opportunities, trying to control all of the outcomes that could possibly happen, which is impossible and also exhausting. And it's kind of like a never-ending thing, so you never are going to make it to that finish line. You're going to be dreaming but not doing. And I think a big thing too is it's almost like a false identity that you're having, because if you're wanting to do all these things are aligned with what you want to share with the world, but you're not doing it because you're too scared to show up, you're too scared to have fun with this dream. It doesn't have to be your dream career. It could just be a project that you start, and when you're done with it, you're done. But you don't get to do all of these things that are part of your personality because you're boxed into like it has to be perfect. So it's really limiting.
Yeah, you're missing out on a whole life.
And you and the people around you don't really get to like see this full version of yourself.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, because everybody has so much to offer and to share. And we're the ones kind of holding us back from doing that. So usually it's a fear of being judged, a feel of failing, a feel of being like ordinary, like you're not being wow enough. But reframe that thought and think to yourself, courage isn't really about being perfect. It's about imperfection in motion. It's about the consistency. It's about showing up and about really putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's on Netflix. It's kind of like a TED Talk from Brene Brown. I just told Mel about it today. Like, you have to watch it.
Now I have to go watch it. Like, I'm really excited.
She's awesome. And she has this TED Talk there. And I watch it like every couple of years because it was really life-changing for me. And sometimes certain things take a little bit more time to like kick in. So you need like the little reminder. So she talks about a lot of different things, right? She studies vulnerability and things like that. But one of the things that really stuck with me is a quote that she talks about from Theodore Roosevelt, I believe. And it's about the man in the arena. And she talks about how in the Roman times, like, the people in the arena were getting in there and fighting, and you're getting injured and sweaty and blood, sweat, tears, literally. And you're putting it all out there on that arena. And then there's people that are in the stands that are just there judging, and they're just saying how you could be doing this better and that, and
everyone's a critic.
Yeah,
but no one's actually doing the work.
Correct. And a critic is fine if this person has done what you're doing and has something to offer. But if they're sitting in the stands, not sweaty, not bloody, not going through the difficult times that it takes to do this,
and never even trying.
Yeah, that's not the person you want advice for. And that was another moment that I was clear with myself, or like I called myself out. Right, I was the person in the arena. I mean, in the stands. So I stayed safe. I could give a lot of advice, but I wasn't taking risks of any kind, really. And I was just staying safe, and I wasn't really doing the really hard stuff. I was doing little hard things, but not the really hard stuff. And that video really inspired me to change that and to become the person that's in the arena, because no matter how much I fail or how ugly it gets in there, you're still always better off than the person that's just sitting in the stands.
Yeah, and I feel like you feel more proud of yourself, right? Because you actually tried. Whereas later you're going to have regret because you never did.
Yeah. It's a different experience. So, breaking free, right? Progress over perfection. Micro wins. Take messy action. Like, you can improve after that. So, the start is the most important part and the hardest, I think. Same for workouts, right? Like, people sometimes want to buy like all the outfits and get the best gym, and then we create, I don't know if you guys have done it, but we create this whole schedule of like how we're going to do everything.
We're going to eat perfectly, and we're not going to have sugar ever, and no alcohol.
You've set yourself up to fail because you cannot meet that perfect expectation. You're just not going to do it at all.
Yes.
So,
and you want the body by Saturday.
But you already gave up by Tuesday because there's just too many things. So start where you are. Like I said, workouts is just I'm not in love yet. I can't get there yet. So for now, I am just doing 30 minutes every single day so that I can be consistent, so that I can have movement. I sweat. It feels good after. And one day, eventually, I hope it feels better and I can do more.
And the more you do it, I feel like even if it doesn't feel great, like while you're doing it, afterwards you feel good that you accomplished it. And the more you do it, you're like, oh, okay, well, I did
there one day.
Okay.
I'm not there yet. I do feel good after.
But
the beginning
the starting is hard.
Is the hard part.
Yeah, and I do think that gets better. I will say,
I hope so.
For me, it
because it's not there yet. But, I am doing it because it's something I want to do for myself and because I know that it's good for me. So even if I don't want to do it in the moment, I know that it's for my better, for the better good. So I do it. Just like the podcast, honestly. Sometimes you could make every excuse, right? Because it is hard and it's it makes us nervous and we're nerve-wracking. So, do we skip a day? Maybe we're busy today. We have our businesses to run that we could be doing right now. Do we felt like today we're a little bit behind? Do we just run out of time? We pick up tomorrow? I can think of a lot of excuses to not do it, but I know that this feels good to have done, and it's good for us, and hopefully it's good for anybody else. And just the action of getting over this fear and doing it is good. So here we are. even though we were terrified right before this video.
Or get yourself a friend that'll just like pull you along and be like, this is what we're doing. And you're just like, okay, sure, let's go.
And as a friend, it's better to have someone because it's easier to inspire someone else than to do it for yourself.
Yeah, no, it's definitely easier to have a partner in this.
Yeah.
And I don't think it would have just never happened if I was going to do this by myself. Just like the posting thing, like there's so many times where I'm like driving and I'll be like, oh, I want to like post something or say something like that just came to my mind. But then the fear of like recording myself and then how I look and how are people going to see it, and I don't do it. And then I'm like, oh, well, that didn't happen.
And maybe somebody really needed to hear that message or could have really related.
Maybe they did, but they didn't get it because I was too scared. And that's one thing that I keep saying I need to overcome and I need to do. I know I've told you that like a million times, but... So I'm gonna work on that. That's one of the things I'm gonna work on.
Try to make it like a weekly thing where you just show up once that you feel it.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be every time, but just once, and then it starts to be a little. Think of me with the workouts. Now it's a lot better at the workout part, and
workouts I can do. Those I like. Those make me feel good.
Make it a goal. One time a week, you show up in some way, just whenever you feel it.
The posting, theoretically, I'm like, oh, I would love that. Then when it goes to happen, I'm like, oh no, I don't want to do this. So I will get better.
And remember what we talked about before, if you listen to our other episode on the inner critic, those fears is because your subconscious thinks it's trying to keep you safe because it's scary.
And because someone's going to judge me and someone's going to say something nasty, or they're going to think like, who does she think she is? That's what's in my head.
But it's possible, right? That could happen. So it's not about saying that that's not going to happen, because it's possible. But would it really be the end of the world?
No.
It would maybe hurt because we're new to it and things like that, but we're not really in danger. This is just new for us. So when you're in those fears, that's what I try to tell myself. Like, I'm not in danger. This is just new and it's exciting. It's not necessarily scary. It's just exciting. I try to change the word. And it's just because it's new, but it's not dangerous.
As my nephew would say, are they going to punch you in the face? No. So you should just do it. So I need to take this advice.
Agreed. I hope he keeps that, because sometimes we have these things as kids.
I feel like as kids it's easier, but then you get older and you're like, oh, so hard.
Agreed.
So our challenge is for you to do one thing that takes you out of your comfort zone. One thing that you have been so scared to do. You've been holding back because you want it to be perfect and you don't want to fail. Post it, do it, whatever it is. Write the book, write the story, do the podcast, launch it. Even if it's messy, just get it out there. So that you can say you did it, and it'll be less scary the more times you do it. I mean, I think we're a testament to that right now. It's still scary, but I feel like the more we do it, the less scary it's getting. We've only had to breathe and say our little, I'm not sure, hold on, let's do this, do we start it, not start it, like twice this time. So it is getting better. It's getting better.
Yes, agreed. So remember, you're not going to grow by being perfect. You're actually going to grow by being imperfectly consistent and learning from those failures. So failures are a privilege. It means that you're trying. It means that you're putting yourself out there. It means that you're taking risk and you're dreaming for bigger. So don't take failure as a negative. It's a privilege to be able to fail and fail forward. So when you do this dream or this goal that you've had, remember, it can be a first draft. This doesn't have to be like let's say it's a book. This doesn't have to be, your legacy. This isn't an all or nothing.
Yeah.
Just write the book, and once it's written, this could be your first draft, and then you can edit, and then maybe it becomes something. But just getting it on paper is going to be huge, right? So when you do this, tag us. We would love to be your cheerleader. So tag us on social media at The Limitless Tribe, and we'd love to share your win.
So for our next episode, just a little sneak peek, we're going to be talking about fear of judgment. And if you're hiding in the background and afraid to be seen, we want you to have the courage to show up and just live the life that you were meant to live. So if you like this episode and you know someone that might be interested in it, please tag them, like it, subscribe. So until next time, your life, your rules, no limits, stay limitless.